Hello and good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Blue Knight 7 of the Blue Knight Cast, here today with episode 24. I told you I was back, but today I wanted to respond to the Nintendo Partner Direct that was aired earlier today. I did watch it in the end and just wanted to give my reactions to what I saw and discuss what I'm going to call the highlights. I'm probably talking about more than I'm skipping, but I thought I'd go through a few of them and just talk about where I think we stand at the end of that direct. And I've seen some mixed reactions online to the direct as a whole. Some people seem happy. A lot of people think it was the worst direct ever. But I actually thought it was pretty good. But we'll go through it here. Yesterday I put out a episode where I made a few predictions, and I made a lot of predictions, like more than what you could probably actually see in a direct. And as far as the ones that were kind of a sure bet, like a lock, I think I hit a good number of those. I haven't took the time to just count them up, but I'm pretty sure I did good. And that being said, there were some games that kind of struck me as filler, or maybe they just fall in the Nintendo was contractually obligated to get a trailer out for this game by this day category. So, it's a partner direct. That's kind of what you expect from a partner direct. I'm not surprised in a way at what we did see. We saw some things I really wanted to see, and for me, that kind of decides in the end whether it's a good direct or not. Was there anything there that I actually want for myself? And there were a few things, and probably more than I can buy at once. So, to me, that's great. That's all it takes for me to have a great direct. Some people really want a mind-blowing announcement. And to me, a lot of that's eye of the beholder. I guess there wasn't the gigantic, oh, this WTF game actually did show up for Switch 2 and it's amazing, and I never thought it would come. I don't think we really had that moment during this direct, and I think people was really wanting that moment. But to me, it feels more like, partner direct. They need to hammer a few of these out. Let's go. But in general, I thought there was a great showing from Japan developers. Just speaking overall, we had, a showing from Capcom, pretty good showing from Square Enix. Surprisingly, Konami. I wasn't really expecting to see much from Konami at all at this point, but here we are. Konami had a couple of things for market. And Namco, they were there. Nothing that blew me away personally. But just to go through the quick list I made of standouts. They opened it with Orbitals, and I had heard about it, but I didn't know much about it. Trailer really intrigued me. I loved the 80s anime vibes that it was giving, and it just felt like something on a Saturday morning cartoon I might have watched when I was younger, like Voltron or something. And I was intrigued, but I'm not really a co-op gamer, so I was looking at that thinking, is there a way to play it single player? So probably not a lock for me, a purchase for me, but I'll follow it a little more and see what all options you have for playing that game. But the visuals really struck me. Tokyo Scramble, Again, not really one for me. I didn't recognize the developer. But once again, it seems like this was more of a Eastern dev showing, and it looked interesting, kind of a survival horror in its own right. Just sort of an unexpected thing that I don't think anybody was talking about or expecting to see. That might have been the first time it was ever shown. I don't know. I didn't recognize it before, but it caught my attention. Going more to what Capcom had, Pragmata, I had been looking favorably on the game before this, but what was presented in the Direct was my first real good, long, hard look at it. And yeah, I'm interested. They probably got a purchase for me on Pragmata. Just sort of an interesting game. The hacking mechanic intrigues me. I wonder, like, how hard is it to keep up with the hacking and surviving against those enemies. Just curious to see how well it actually plays. But I'm going to look into that a little more. Resident Evil. I'm not really a Resident Evil gamer. I'll just say that now. I'm just not. But what that did show me is, okay, the big guns are playing well on Switch 2. Resident Evil Requiem looked good to me. I know there's been a lot of commentary about just the hair's different, and I guess that's true, but that actually looked like a good playing Resident Evil, and I don't know, it just got my attention, even though that's not my thing. So just glad to see 7, 8, 9 come to Switch 2. Glad to see Requiem look as good as it did. The amiibo made me laugh a little bit, but you know, I guess they're not giving up on amiibo yet. Monster Hunter Stories 3, I did predict. I thought Monster Hunter Wilds would have shown up instead, like a port of it, but I guess that's kind of the theme here. For a lot of people, it's not quite what they wanted. I'm not really a Monster Hunter person. If you can't tell, Pragmata is what I really was glad to see from Capcom. But Monster Hunter Stories 3, okay, it did look good for what it was. And that is coming very soon. Going on to Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Coming in June. I think that was a little earlier than most people was expecting. I thought it'd be more towards the end of the year if you made me guess, but it's coming in June. The trailer for it looked very good. Like, I don't really see the graphical sacrifices it's had to make on Switch 2. I'm sure someone can point them out to me that knows better than me. But it looked solid, and if Square can keep up that level of quality on porting Switch 2 stuff, yeah, I want Final Fantasy 15. I want Final Fantasy 16. Make 13 happen. But, and even 14. I bet there'd be a lot of people that would line up for Final Fantasy 14. But my point is, it looked good. This handheld is punching way above its weight, in my opinion. It's just glad to see. Just glad to see. And my guess, as far as why it's in the summer, I know some others, like I think Nate the Hate has commented on this. They are probably going to start talking about the third installment of this remake trilogy in earnest over the summer. Line it up with Summer Game Fest or whatever you want to call it. I think we're going to get a title for the third installment and earnest marketing on the third installment starting this summer. And who knows, maybe we're getting the third installment on Switch 2 day and date, or close to day and date, to the other versions now. We'll see. It's an interesting time to be a Final Fantasy fan and a Switch 2 fan. It really is. A Nintendo fan. 30 years ago, I wouldn't have thought this was going to happen. 20 years ago, I wouldn't have thought this was going to happen. So this is sort of a big deal. Adventures of Elliot. I know some people are tired of the whole HD 2D thing, but I haven't got tired of it. And Adventures of Elliot just looks very interesting to me. I know a lot of people compare it to 2D Zelda, but to me, I think of it more as a HD 2D Secret of Mana game. And just the way it plays. And yeah, I that's probably going to be one of my most wanted games for the rest of this year. And it's also coming, I believe, in June. A lot of games are coming in June, July, I notice, or especially anchored around June. Some of the announcements were for this month, but yeah. February and June. And just for a quick side, the Digimon game, I am not a Digimon gamer either. I'm not a Pokemon gamer either. But when you look at the trailer for what they were doing with Digimon, that looked way better than what people have come to expect out of Pokemon on Switch. And, I don't know. To me, it's like if I was really wanting to get into a game like that, I'd probably look into Digimon now. That trailer looked very good. Not really for me, but it looked good. Bomberman Collection. That one made me smile. I'm not going to say I'm a hardcore Bomberman person, but I've always played Bomberman games over the years. When the Switch first came out, I got Breath of the Wild, of course, but I also got Bomberman. I feel like I was one of the 10 people who bought that game. And I joke, I think it did succeed. I kind of skipped Super Bomberman R2, but just though I've meant to go back and get it. And just to see this collection, yeah, I'm probably going to get the physical edition, even though it comes out in August. It's available today, and I may hold off just to check prices and see if the physical is going to be a big deal, like a big price difference. But yeah, Bomberman Collection, that's a lock for me. I'm getting it. And you see, for me, that's enough to call it a good direct. Bomberman, that's all I needed. I'm a man of simple taste. Pragmata made it good. Bomberman made it good. FF7 Rebirth made it good. Adventures of Elliot made it good. That's all I needed. It's already an excellent direct for me. But moving along, console archives, Arcade Archives 2. I don't know how familiar people are with that series, but on Switch, Hamster Corporation had Arcade Archive series on the eShop, where it's basically a lot of arcade games, and particularly Neo Geo games, emulated and ported over for download on the eShop. And I have a few of them. They emulated very well. It's kind of a quality series. It kind of makes up a big chunk of what people call the Switch Virtual Console, which does not really exist. It's just all the random games you can download on the eShop and purchase. But Arcade Archives kind of made a backbone for a lot of that. And now we have Arcade Archives 2, which is, I guess, a little kind of a step up in terms of the type of games they emulate. More 3D. We're getting more into the 3D era with these. Ridge Racer, now Rave Racer. But then they announced Console Archives, which apparently is more of the console game variety, and that kind of really opens the door to what you might see from them in the future. So I'm interested. Not sure I would buy Cool Borders or Ninja Gaiden 2 from them, but still very intrigued. Would like to see what future releases look like. I don't have all of them, but I have some of them, and yeah, I'm going to keep paying attention to them. Turok Origins, that's probably one, I'll call that a pleasant surprise as well. Um, and I guess my main reason is I just thought the trailer looked good. I never really was into Turok much. I always thought it was just this weird world with these very weird enemies. But uh, graphically, the game looked very good. So I'll probably pay attention a little more to it and see what comes out of it. Uh, and then I'm going to cut over to towards the end when we had Todd Howard from Bethesda come out and basically say, look, we're continuing to support the Switch. We're glad to do this. And so for people wondering what was going on with Microsoft, they were going to come, well, they sent Todd Howard today, apparently. And what did we see? Fallout 4 coming out later this month. Indiana Jones later this year. I can't remember the exact date. It might have been in June as well. I can't remember. And the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, the HD remaster of it, is coming sometime this year, apparently. So, 3 Bethesda games in one fell swoop. Now, I think Fallout 4 was already a known quantity, and Indiana Jones, we knew it was coming. Oblivion was probably your big end of direct reveal. That you could say Bethesda was the one more thing. That was pretty good. You know, a lot of people love Oblivion. I know there were some people like Nate the Hate actually saying, I don't think that's a priority for them. I don't think it'll come. And then here they come and do it. So I'm taking this as Bethesda as an extension of Microsoft saying, yeah, we're going to put our games over. We're coming. And I know a lot of people are wondering, will we see Forza on Switch? Will we actually see Halo on Switch? Will we really see these games like Call of Duty on Switch? We're supposed to. But Bethesda had already been supporting the Switch even before they merged with Microsoft, and here they are saying, yeah, we're still rolling. To me, that was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't my best one more thing moment for a direct or a partnership direct, but it was a good one to me. And yeah, there's other games I glazed over and didn't talk about. I remember Valheim. It wasn't really for me. I thought it was kind of weird. It looked like Minecraft at points, but trying to be a little higher fidelity. That one sticks out to me still yet. Scott Pilgrim. It's something we knew about, but yeah, glad to see it's still coming. Hollow Knight getting a Switch 2 facelift, I guess, or upgrade for free. That's good. I'm going to download that today. Yeah, it was, to me, it was pretty solid because there's stuff I actually wanted. Now, if it, Tomodachi Life, to me, that was kind of the worst ever because I'm not buying that game. Not knocking the people that would. It's not for me. But looking through this, yeah, there's stuff I want to buy. And was there like a huge, big third party reveal that no one saw coming? For some people, that's going to be Oblivion. For me, that's what I'm calling Oblivion. The one really for me, though, is Bomberman Collection. To each his own, right? But that's just how I see that. And these others are games that people wanted to see, wanted release dates for, but they already knew they were coming. And I think that's probably what the negative reaction to the direct is in the end. Just we saw things we knew were coming, got release dates, got some details. Venture Elliott, I felt like we learned some things. But if you was wanting to go in there and say, "Oh, Call of Duty, here it is." No, we didn't have a lot of moments like that. So that's really what was wrong with it. But it's a partner direct. To me, just the fact it has partner in front of it means you lower your expectations a little bit. We were not getting the next Monolith soft game here. We were not getting the next 3D Mario here. It would have been cool if we'd have got Call of Duty announced or something like that. But apparently that was not to be. And so what is really going on here? Well, it's kind of what I've been saying, but partner directs to me are normally they were running out of time to get some trailers out for some games, so they do this to showcase some third-party games all at once just to get them out. And it seems like a lot of these were trailers for bigger games that we already knew existed that needed release dates. That was the real theme for me. We might have seen some new stuff, but it was really about release dates. And there is a rumor going around, originated from Nash Weedle. And I know he's not the most accurate leaker out there. I know some people don't want to use him as a source. I get it. But apparently he's saying there should be a one more direct soon this month or March. But he wasn't sure exactly what. Which of course causes people to theorize it's the general direct we've been waiting on all this time. Who knows? I don't know. It could be one just for Zelda on its anniversary, 40th anniversary. We just don't know. But my guess is if you've been waiting for a drop your jaw moment that you haven't seen yet, it's probably going to be on the next direct. Whether it's this extra thing Nash Weedle is talking about and coming in the next, let's say, 2 months. Or just the general direct whenever it does come, if it's not in the next 2 months. When you go in the past at how they scheduled these directs, and last year was just kind of odd how they did some things, so I wouldn't go by last year. But normally you see a direct in February, a general direct. You might see another one in April, especially if it didn't happen in February. And you're generally guaranteed to see something in late June or June. And then you might get another general in September, with maybe some other smaller ones laced along the way. Mario movie directs, stuff like that, Indie World. And when there's a time that their first parties just aren't ready yet, you might see a partner direct instead. So, of a general. So, what I'm getting at with all of this is, I feel like Nintendo's not necessarily trying to play by the rigid rules lately. We've had this sort of a January direct, I would argue, where they kept Twitter dropping stuff like Virtual Boy on NSO, Mario Brothers Wonder, Switch 2 edition. I could go on, but we've had this steady stream of these fragmented directs. That's what I'm calling them. And I feel like you could have laced a lot of them together to make a really long direct. Tamagotchi Life might have made it too long, but they had that one separate. You get my point. I feel like from January to now, we kind of had a direct that didn't show us a brand new game. And I don't know if it's because they just have a huge general direct, and that's what everybody wants to believe, obviously. There's a huge general direct in the wings with big announcements, and this was just clearing the floor, clearing the runway for it. Maybe that's true. I sincerely hope that's true. There's definitely some things we did not see that is worth talking about that you still might see in a general direct. So I'm going to go ahead and believe that's true for now. We didn't see Elden Ring from Namco. No release date yet. We didn't see anything from Sega. You know they got something. That was actually the one prediction you could say we got wrong. Because I was expecting Sega to bring something. Something Sonic, something Yakuza, something. They did not show. And, you know, I've already been talking about Microsoft, but Microsoft proper, where were they? Would have been a good time for them to come up and announce one of many, many games. They could, anything they wanted to port over, really. Whether it's Sea of Thieves or Forza Horizon 5 or Call of Duty. I mean, that could have been easy. But that's what we got out of this. And I do think there's more out there we haven't seen yet. Oh, yeah, the Dust Bloods, too. From Software. Elden Ring, but also the Dust Bloods. So there's a direct in the future. Don't worry, there'll be one. I don't know if it'll be end of April. I don't know if it'll be 1st of April. I don't know if it'll be March. I don't know if it'll be this month. But I'll bet you money there'll be one in June if we don't hear anything else. Don't hate me. So, with that, I'll conclude this episode of the Blue Knight Cast, episode 24. Thank you all very much for listening to me ramble about this hobby that I love. And I'll try to keep coming with more regular episodes. I'm not sure how frequently. I'm trying to figure that out. I'd rather do something regular than do something every day and cause burnout or cause me to have another hiatus. But I do have some topics upcoming that I do want to talk about, and we will discuss them soon. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Please like, subscribe, and share this if you would. Thanks.